Hello all, I am Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I am bringing to you the spoiler-filled discussion of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. And if you haven't read the book yet, do check out my spoiler-free review and get out of this video right now because you're going to get spoiled if you keep on watching. So let's get into today's video. Please do check the spoiler-free review, which I'll link down in the description. Today, I'm just going to bring you some of the thoughts of mine about this book, which is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and I'm going to discuss certain scenes or certain things which I found very much adorable in the book, and I'm also eager to say a little bit dots of inconsistencies which I might have found while reading this first book. To start with, I'll just rub away the bad thoughts, which is one of the main things about this book. And the first thing which I didn't like in this book is the Dursleys, and it's a good thing about the story because she has written the Dursleys in such a despicable way, so that they are such mean, such cruel, so flimsy-minded human beings whom every other person will detest just on seeing him, and the way that they treat Harry, it is the horrible. I cannot even think of slaves being treated by their owners or their masters in such a way, even in the medieval period, because they treat a child who's just 11 years old in such a very, very bad way. And moving on to the good things about the story, we have Harry as a whole, and there are particular scenes which just show this magical tendency that is hidden within Harry, which Rowling discusses in the first few chapters of the book, in which in the way his hair grows out in a clumsy way, and in the way in which while he was searched by teachers, he was found on the top of a roof in the school, and many other things like that. They just show that presence of magic in his life even from his childhood. And also the zoo scene in which Dudley goes and looks into the snake's cage, and when the glass disappears and he just tumbles down into the water along with his friend, who is, by the way, missing in the movie, was such a funny scene to read about, and it is the first appearance of magic which we get in this first book. Leaving the Dursleys, we'll move on to the more magical aspects of the book. First is the King's Cross station and the Scarlet steam engine which drives people from London to Hogwarts. And in my childhood, I used to believe that there is this particular platform called 9 3/4 in that station somewhere in London, and that is this actual school, Hogwarts, which is a painful truth that it is not. And I used to think that I'll be getting this letter from Hogwarts while I am 11 and I'll be going there for sure. But just like for everyone out there who's watching this, I also didn't get the letter and you also didn't, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed so that we'll be getting it even at the age of 20 plus or 25 if you are one of them. Speaking about King's Cross station, we meet the Weasleys for the first time over there, and this specific scene in which Fred and George, who are the Weasley twins, they promise Ginny, who's their younger sister, that they'll be gifting her or presenting her with a toilet commode for her birthday from Hogwarts this year. And the way in which Molly Weasley, who's Mrs. Weasley, the mother of the Weasleys, yells at them and says them to behave. It is such a fun-filled scene, and it is so beautiful to read about. And also Molly Weasley, she is one of the best mother characters to ever have been written, if you ask me, and she is this whole mama bear in this whole series. If you ask me, rather than Lily, I liked Molly Weasley more throughout the series, and in this series there are certain scenes which emphasize her character as a mother in a very good way. She advises Ron to keep company with Harry, and she also asks her children to take care of Harry and not make him feel uncomfortable. And also this scene in which Molly sends a sweater for Harry along with her children. These are some nuggets that J.K. Rowling has just sprinkled throughout this first book in order to make the presence of this motherly character, who's Molly Weasley, in a very vivid way. Moving on to some of the more important characters in the book, I'll have to speak about Ron and Hermione for a moment, because they are the two people who make Harry the person he is in Hogwarts, and without both of them, this series will not be that good, because one of the main important pillars on which the series rests is friendship, and that is the friendship between these three people. And the relationship between Harry, Ron, and Hermione, it is so strong that they can understand each other even at that young age. They are children, but that connect which they form, it is so natural to read about, and it is also very whimsical as well. Now, of all the three, Hermione is my most favorite because she's a nerd and I'm kind of a nerd as well, and she's the ultra nerd who's like the role model for every nerds to be out here. And also, there are some quirky things which Hermione does throughout this first book, which fleshes out her character in a very good way. Now, there are some scenes in which Hermione just wants to express her intelligence, that she has read all these subjects even before getting to school, and she has to prove her intelligence despite the fact that she's muggle born. No one sees her low in this first book, but we can see that that character development of Hermione was put out by J.K. Rowling in order to show that she's not at all less compared to all those wizarding children in the school. And everyone has to accept it. If there's no Hermione, there's no Harry or Ron. After they get into the third floor corridor and see that Fluffy, which is the three-headed dog, and Alohomora, that's one of the spells which just puts Hermione on the map, and it shows her intelligence, her presence of mind, her wisdom, and her knowledge of magic in that young age, even when the other children are not as wise as her. And J.K. Rowling has also put out these beautiful scenes like Wingardium Leviosa, in which her talent rather than her knowledge in magic are expressed in such a beautiful way. I talked about the Weasleys being the despicable characters in the beginning of the book, and we have another despicable character in the middle of the book who is Severus Snape. And to all those Snape fans out there, I hate Severus Snape because he's just a bully for kids. He's been bullying Harry ever since he was 11, and that is not a good thing for a teacher, and I didn't like that part of him throughout the book. Even though he doesn't do anything bad to anyone in this first book, I didn't like him because he's a character who feels to be wrong in some way or the other throughout this first book. And apart from that, some of the teachers or professors who I loved in this series are, or in this first book to be specific, are Minerva McGonagall, who's strict and she's also kind. She feels the empathy towards students, as well as she's strict when it comes to being a disciplinarian. And apart from these two, Flitwick is this little tiny professor whom he's just cute to read about. And the charms class in which Wingardium Leviosa takes place, that's one of the best things I've ever read in Harry Potter or in any book that I've read at all. I have to take a moment to talk about the antagonist, who's Voldemort, or you know who, or the one who must not be named while gushing about this book. And his his presence as a parasite within Professor Quirrell is so good to read. And there are certain scenes which we may find inconsistent while reading this book, because there is a scene in the beginning of the book while Harry shakes his hand with Quirrell, and nothing happens to Quirrell in the in the leaky cauldron, but at the climax, when he touches his face and his hands, Quirrell just burns up and becomes ashes. Why didn't he become ashes in the first scene itself while they shook hands in the leaky cauldron? If you're a person who just watched the movies, they don't shake hands in the movies, but in the book they do. There's a line which specifically highlights that part to have taken place inside the leaky cauldron. And there are certain scenes of Quirrell also which I found funny, and one scene which I have to mention because I remember it so vividly in my mind is that it is the scene with the Weasley twins during the Christmas holiday, in which all other students have gone to their houses and the Weasleys and Harry and some other students are alone staying in Hogwarts for Christmas. And the Weasley twins, they are birching snowballs, and they are just letting it go and hit people, and they just go and hit Quirrell on the back of his turban with the snowballs. And just for reading that, the thing which came to my mind was that they are actually throwing snowballs on the face of Voldemort, if you just think about it, because Voldemort's face is here, right? His face is the back of Quirrell's head, and that's where they are throwing the snowballs at, and it was such a hilarious scene to read for me. I want to read this specific excerpt from the book because this is what the series is right now, and this is what Harry Potter means to a lot of people right now, because J.K. Rowling in this first book itself has foretold or foreshadowed the actual future in the world in which we live in, and I'll just read out that particular paragraph for you. And it is, he'll be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in future. There will be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name. If you think about it, it is actually totally true, because we have the Harry Potter night falling on every February of every year, and there are 8 Harry Potter books, and we have prequel books to Harry Potter which are set in the universe of Harry Potter being taken place, and also every child in today's world does know his name. That is the actual fact that she has foreshadowed in this very first book. And if you want more than this to have a reason to read Harry Potter or to reread Harry Potter, there's nothing much I can say, because this is a magical series which will make you read a lot more, and I'm sure if you read this, you're going to become a better person in life for sure. If you did enjoy watching this video, do give it a thumbs up, and also comment down your theories about the first book so that we can discuss it with each other, and also share it to your friends if you enjoyed watching the video. Thanks for watching.